banger news that violence against women and girls is on the rise in our community. On Rightturn with Joyce today, I have with me a child's rights advocate to discuss the issue and try to find solution. My name is Joyce Simbala and you're welcome to Rightturn with Joyce. When we return from the break, you'll meet my guests. Welcome back. On today's episode, I have with me Lemmy Ughegbe. He is a child and gender rights advocate, a journalist, a media critic, a development communication consultant, and a good governance promoter. You're welcome to Rightturn with Joyce.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Yes. You know, for us, it's about taking a right turn. So whatever the topic is, and if it is trending, we really want to talk about it. To see that somebody like you, that is a man, deciding to stand for a cause that a lot of men will shy away with, it's really commendable. So you are the founder of Make a Difference Initiative and also Men Against Rape. And you are a man. You know, in this field, you find out that it is women that are fighting because they feel that they are the ones that are being violated. What inspired you to say, okay, I'm going to take a stand concerning this particular issue because it is serious and I want to get other men to join me in the fight?
Okay, clearly, this issue of sexual and gender-based violence, rape, is actually a pandemic now in our country.
Clearly.
It is a pandemic of monumental proportion. And you would find that the psychosocial consequences of actually having many women, many girls, and of course boys to suffer from incidents of rape or sexual abuse is such that society would also go mad. If we go by UNICEF statistics, 4 out of 10 girls get violated before their 18th birthday. 1 out of 10 boys get violated before their 18th birthday. Then you would know that we are talking about 20% of the population of women would one way or the other have been sexually abused before their 18th birthday. Yeah. And 10% of boys would have been abused before they are adults. If you put that together, it should worry us because we are now saying that we would have a population of about 30 million Nigerians, mostly women, who have been violated. And as such, they'll be suffering from all sorts of trauma. Absolutely. And the many psychosocial consequences is that society will be in trouble because the issue of victimization and re-victimization becomes a major issue. So we now felt that the major people who are behind this, the major people who are actually behind the perpetration of violence and rape are actually the male folks. Yes, there are a few cases where women are also found abusing, but the real target audience that we must deal with are actually the men. And what did we decide to do? We decided to give birth to an organization called Men Against Rape, because Men Against Rape is a deliberate response to recruit men from different walks of life, of different class, different social class, to bring them together in a pool as our evangelists, going into communities, going into nooks and crannies, to say we are ambassadors against gender-based violence. And as such, we are permeating the various nooks and crannies and the community at large, and not just in preaching the word that real men protect women and children. We are preaching the word and trying to get more converts. People who will stand up and say, in this society, we, all of us men, are going to do what? We are going to stand against gender-based violence. And we are taking it beyond just going into communities. We are working even with primary school pupils. Because again, by the in a few weeks, we are likely going to also commission some boys group, Boys Against Rape, in primary schools. in order to begin to socialize them in time, to teach them what a gentleman means. A gentleman means that man who will protect a girl even against his own interest. Okay? So that's what we are doing. That's the essence of Men Against Rape. To be a response to tackle this infirmity that has ravaged our country.
Well, the reason, the fact that you're even bringing boys into play, you know, it means that you're planning to actually catch them young.
Absolutely.
Which, of course, if they learn from childhood how to treat women or how to respect themselves, we're going to have a better society where we have men being protectors rather than them being people that are hunting the women for the purpose of sexual benefits.
Yes. If you look at it really, the reason we have it this way already is because the way patriarchy has done it, he has socialized the boy and the girl wrongly and differently, making the girl feel less of a human than the boy, making the boy feel like the girl is subordinate and subservient to him. That's one. Two, also making the boy grow up into a man feeling like he has a right, an entitlement to the body of the girl. And because he feels like that, even when the girl says no, he has sexualized her. You see a girl looking beautiful, a lady looking beautiful. Instead of saying, wow, you look pretty, this is good, he says, you look sexy. Because the patriarchy in us has socialized and sexualized the girl. And that's the reason we must attack it, even from the generation of the primary school pupils. Because with the primary school pupils, imagine a simple illustration. John and Jane in primary 4, for instance. John and Jane play every day during break time. But there's a day that Jane is not in the mood to play. And Jane says, I don't want to play. And John begins to insist. What do you do? As a teacher who is conscious, or as a parent who is conscious? Because this has to be intentional. You teach John that yes, Jane is your friend, but she has a right to say, I do not want to play. Now, if John begins to understand that even for ordinary play, something as trivial as that, a girl can say no, then we will have succeeded in making him know that when more serious matters like sexual interaction comes when he's of age, once the girl says no, she means no. Unlike what we have now, that grown men will say when a girl says no, it means yes. And because of that, incidents of rape has skyrocketed and all. So we must catch them from primary school, that tender age, and teach them how to be gentlemen. While the adults that we are talking about, we have to do what? Reorient them. We have to re-educate them, because according to Art Jonak, he says the illiterate of the 21st century is not he who cannot read and write, but he who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So they have to unlearn those patriarchal norms that have made society to be in trouble with gender-based violence, and pick up, learn new norms that teach them that a gentleman, a real man, is a force of nature that uses his force to protect women and children by all means.
So talking about the patriarchal norm, I think you have said a lot, and I think we're still going to go back to it and talk deeper. So we'll go on a short break and we'll be right back. You're welcome back. We're still with Lemmy Ughegbe. You know, we're talking about patriarchy. And I remember one time you were mad about something that happened some time ago in Nigeria. You know, I was watching you on AIT, where you were talking about the electoral reform bill, you know, where some people were suggesting that any child that is married, that is not up to the age of 18, should be allowed to vote, just because some people want to benefit themselves. How do we go past the laws that are set down that guide us as a country? You know that there is a Child Rights Act. How do you come from just because the child is married does not mean that their age have increased? And you actually threw the whole thing out of the window when you make mention of the fact that the boy child too should be allowed to vote even though he is 18. These are the issues that we're facing. With that, you went further to, you have been one person that have been fighting for all of these things. I remember the Ochanya case. It's yet to, it has not closed yet, even though one person is jailed. Today, we are seeing Enyobong. Today, we are seeing the Baba Ijesha case. You know, that Baba Ijesha case, I'm particularly interested in it because I have seen a play of patriarchy. If you go on social media, you see people, the social media is divided into two. Some people, I am shocked to see the number of men that are actually on his side just because they felt that there was a sin that was at play. Proving rape is difficult. You have been on the scene, on the field. Proving rape is difficult. And even though these women, or the princess herself, I feel like, I don't know if it's, you're going to educate me about this now, please. Because the argument is that she violated the girl too by putting her in the same situation. But how do you prove rape in Nigeria if there is nothing for that person to be able to hold on to? Especially considering the fact that that girl was molested at the age of 7, which they did not prove. And the only reason why they did this was because they wanted to see it. Please, I want you to enlighten me about that. And Nigerians still want to know.
It's a crazy time in Nigeria, and you would know that yesterday again, government commissioned a what's it called now? Mind Will. Mind Will is a mental health foundation providing mental health therapy for people. And at that event, we discovered that WHO, World Health Organization, said about 50 million Nigerians actually suffer one form of mental health or the other. And if that is so, then you would know that all of these two are, one, a manifestation of growing mental health. Secondly, also the fact that patriarchy has actually made us to be crazy as men, as Nigerians, and not just as men, as even women. Because what patriarchy has succeeded in doing is that, okay, we are talking against harmful traditional practices, for instance. I want to explain how patriarchy has affected the woman, not just as a victim, but also as somebody who helps the men to actually practice the harmful traditional conventions. Now let's look at the widowed practice. For instance, in the widowed practice, you say when a man dies, you shave the head of the woman, you make her stay indoor for like 40 days, you shave her hair, you even make her drink the water from who are those who enforce it? The men say this is the law. The women are the enforcers. They are the umuadas. Now, because of course patriarchy has made them to agree to that situation. They've been socialized like that. It takes a long time to rework the mind.
More like it's
okay, yes, they've been conditioned. So you have to use education as a vaccine to continually help them to get out of it. Now, I saw the same conversation on Facebook on Baba Ijesha and the way Princess went about getting evidence. And I saw conversation and I saw lots of men. For me, that is why we also have them in the National Assembly like that, with also a woman. Remember, it was the person who was more vocal in saying that underage married girls should get voting rights was Honorable Aisha Duku. She's a woman, okay, from the north. Aisha Duku, I've forgotten what state, but she was more vocal than even her counterpart in the Senate, okay, on that matter. Now, what does it tell you? It proves the fact that even at that level of elite, an Honorable Aisha Duku was still enabling pedophilia indirectly. That's patriarchy. Now, when you see the conversation on Facebook on Baba Ijesha, you also see that that is still part of what is playing out. Lots of men, more than 60-70% of them, are even complaining and faulting the woman and saying that this is not tenable and all. Now, like you have said, the way we are and with patriarchy, you go to the police station, we've been saying, have gender desk. so that people who are specialized on issues of gender-based violence will be the ones to attend to cases. You do not have that. Even in Abuja, you don't have all of that. And as a result, so much is going wrong. So if you have a princess who is proactive enough to say, let's get a camera to at least catch him at some point. And on camera, the guy even confessed, admitted to this wrongdoing. As a matter of fact, the position of the law is that so long as a document is authentic, by whatever means you got the document, it's not important. You can bring it before the court as evidence and it will be tenable. That is the position of the law. So if they were able to get a CCTV camera to catch Baba Ijesha at work, then there is nothing. In fact, we should commend her for having the courage, for taking the extra mile to even take that step. So people who are apologists of rape are either, they are not just enablers, they are even worse than the rapists themselves. Absolutely. Because in what they say, they encourage millions of people. I have this dress on, Men Against Rape. Now, when you wear this, you find that just seeing this alone has evangelized for as many people as see you walk across the street. You are bringing their consciousness to bear on the issues of rape. So when you go on social media too and begin to defend an act of rape or sexual violence, you are also enabling. So you are worse than that single person who, because the single person who perpetrated it has done it to one person, but you have encouraged more people to go out and do it. So it's important that every effort anybody puts up to fight or to expose the incident must be taken seriously. And when we are talking about our cyber laws, we need to get to a point where, and I have had cause to actually call on National Human Rights Commission and NAPTIP to begin to flag people who make comments like this on social media.
I agree.
To begin to watch them, place them on watch list, even if you will not go disclosing that this is their status. Place them on watch list and observe what they do in their own communities, because it's important that we must shoot down the incidents of gender-based violence.
Absolutely, because you know something. I saw something earlier this morning about Two-Face's wife on Twitter. I think her daughter, somebody said, was commenting on her daughter, trying to actually sexualize her, that people should look out for her. Then the mother went down and wrote something that he must be a mumu or something like that. Now, something happened 2 years ago. I saw a Facebook post. They were actually celebrating the same girl's birthday, Two-Face's daughter. And when her picture was put up, so some guy somewhere made a comment that that guy should open their eyes, that she's getting ripe, that what her father did, you know, that they should be watching, they will do the same thing to her. You know, some people insulted him. There was a big argument. You know, I just went straight to his inbox. I told him, he was trying to answer and trying to defend the fact that it's a joke. I told him it is not a joke. I said, don't try to defend or answer anybody. Just go there and delete it right now. Because the problem is, what you are starting, you're sparking up a fire. You're sparking up a fire. You start it, but you don't know where it ends. She is not her father. Her father is not a bad person. Because he did not defile an underaged person. He had relationship with adults.
Consensual,
which was consensual. So I don't see, there is no ground for you to ever want to say you're joking about this thing or ever promote it, because people have children and they need to be protected. And I think we've talked a lot, and I really want us to talk more about this thing, because I want to know more about what happened to the case of Ochanya. And now we have the issues of Eniobong and the rest of them. So I want you to stay right here with us, because we have so many other things to talk about. We'll be right back after the break. You're welcome back, and you're still on Rightturn with Joyce. You know, people address you as the General Overseer of the Woman Rapper Association of Nigeria, just because you are passionate about the girl child and you want her liberated, you want her protected. You know, you were one of the persons that were very, very vocal during the Ochanya's case, whose guardian was touching her. You know, he molested her, even his son. You know, at the end of the day, he was remanded in prison, but we don't know what happened to the son up till date. And today we have young people who want to get rich quick, who are going into what do you call it, ritual killings and all of that. Inyoban was just a girl that wanted a job, and somebody lured her and killed her, and they discovered 2 other graves. You know, how do we begin to protect our children from this kind of incident, especially with a government that seemingly look like there are more important issues to talk about than the children?
Wow, it's a very serious matter, and the truth is that we must all rise and not wait alone for government. We must have what is called intentional parenting. Intentional parenting makes the man, the father, for instance, to know that this is the role I must play in my daughter's life. And that's why I like a book that was published recently called The Father's Girl by Funke Obafemi, The Father's Girl. A father must help bring the daughter up to a certain level where the daughter has a strong sense of self-esteem and self-worth. That way, she knows that she must not wait to take a validation from a man. She must not be defined, her success must not be defined by the fact that she stays in an abusive marriage. Then for the little children, parents must make sure that their children can speak to them. They must be the first friends of their children. Because again, if you look at Ochanya's story, Ochanya went to stay with family, the aunt and the aunt's husband and children. Now, unfortunately, Ochanya did not have an aunt who was responsible enough, because even when Ochanya's what do they call cousin, the daughter of that house, started telling the mother that your son, my brother Victor, is abusing Ochanya, the mother decided to keep it what? Hush. The way women particularly will say, let's keep our family name intact. So the conspiracy of silence, the culture of silence, the woman kept quiet. Then it turned out that the father was told by the girl that Victor is abusing Ochanya. The father now, instead of reacting to protect Ochanya, decided to say, oh, this is information that food is ready. And so he started drugging, serially sodomizing and raping an 8-year-old girl. And he did that for 5 years until Ochanya eventually died of complications, health complications from that. What have we done? The man was walking free when all of this happened until I and a group of people coordinated nationwide protests and rallies to call for his arrest. As we speak now, fortunately, he's been languishing in Makurdi prisons for about 2 years now. He's there awaiting trial. His case comes up, but they are not making much progress with trial, but at least he's there in prison. But the boy who started it, the young man, because now he is 21 years old, the advice from the legal department, from the DPP, Director of Public Prosecution, Benue State, was that father and son, Victor, son, Andrew Ogbuja, father, should be brought to trial because both of them are guilty. But Victor is at large. The police, in over 2 years of Ochanya dying, and there's a legal advice that they should both be charged, the police has taken no step whatsoever to even declare Victor wanted. Victor is 21 years old. And what does it mean? It means that the Nigerian police is actually an enabler of pedophilia and rape across the country.
No, but
because
the
Nigerian
police,
yes.
is it only when they declare? How sure are you that they didn't go looking for them?
I particularly, my organization has taken crucial steps. The family of Ochanya too, I have also helped to get petitions written and served at the Louis Edet house to the IG that this step must be taken. Normally what you do is that if you want a fugitive who is on the run, you will go to court, you will apply for what's it called, a warrant of arrest,
Yeah.
they will declare him wanted, then you will begin
But has
to
this steps,
publicize.
have
The
they been
police
taken?
has not taken any step whatsoever. As I speak to you, even recently, I have personally also used the Men Against Rape platform
Yeah.
through our letterheading to also ask the IG of police to do the needful. They, as I speak to you, they still have not done anything. And that is what government and government agencies are like. They are reactionary. They do it for newspaper, media ops. Oh, we are declaring a state of emergency on gender-based violence. But if you have a suspect who has allegedly killed a girl by serially raping and sodomizing her, and for more than 2 years, that person is freely walking in society, what does it mean? It means more children are in danger of being violated. So the police and institutions that should be doing something are not doing, and is sickening. So what we have decided to do, because as we are running Men Against Rape,
NAPTI has been doing a lot of things, and they have used the same police to solve some problems and brought a lot of people to book.
Yes.
Because we now have a register where you
Yes.
have
sex offenders
register, which was not existing
Yes.
before. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe this Ochanya's case is just a peculiar.
Okay, let me add my voice to that. NAPTIP took a step in the Ochanya's case that is commendable, even though the trial is slow. NAPTIP picked Victor Ogbuja's mother, Mrs. Ogbuja, and says she's guilty of criminal negligence and whatever. Somehow she's charged for not protecting Ochanya. So she's going through her own trial in the Makurdi High Court. So that is a step that is commendable. And it sounds a note of warning that for women who protect their family name and allow that house help or that young girl, helpless girl who is in their house, to be violated by husband or son, there is no hiding place because the law criminalizes that. So on that note, it is working well. But we've raised children too in primary schools who are mindful of this thing that is happening now, that the police has not protected one of their own by giving justice to Ochanya, by arresting Victor Ogbuja, 21 years old. So children, by the Children's Day, they are not going to celebrate. Some of the schools, the children we have mentored, by that Children's Day, they are going to have their own peaceful rally and brief the press and call out the IG of police and call him out and insist that until Victor Ogbuja is arrested, then no child is safe. So the police as an institution, by their inaction in not bringing Victor Ogbuja to book, are doing what? They are enabling more harm to the girl child.
Yes, but we must also commend them on the case of this Eniobong, this recent case, because it was very fast. I was really surprised that they really got they found a solution swiftly and they apprehended the guy.
Yes, because again, social media is doing a great job. What we should do really first is to commend the young boys handling on Twitter. Those guys are amazing. Without those young boys, we would not have had a trace of that killer boy. Why am I saying so? The boy started, he started demobilizing, deactivating all of his social media handles and all. But those guys quickly went and got the information before he would escape, and they did that. But it's not enough that they've been arrested. This is a place where, from my own reading of that case, high-level people are involved in this conspiracy. And as a result, there must be openness in it. Look, when, for instance, George Floyd happened, it was not shrouded in secrecy how the trial was done. We ordinarily, you don't wait for 2 weeks, 3 weeks to brief Nigerians on the outcome. So I am worried that they are still taking the normal snail speed in handling it after uncovering how many graves, shallow graves in the house. So there's a problem.
So until some people are really punished, the rest will not.
Yes, deterrence must be enforced. If one person is given the maximum punishment, then we will work well.
Okay, absolutely. I agree with you on that. You know, a lot of people that will be listening to this conversation, men especially, I know there are men that are respectful of women, men that are passionate about protecting their wives, their daughters, their mothers, and the women around their community. They will say, I want to join this movement. I want to contribute to this movement. I want to be part of this movement. I want to see that we grow to have a sane society. How can they come in? How can they join Men Against Rape?
Okay. One, they can reach us on the number 2348069716645. Then on Twitter, they can go at Men Against Rape 5. At Men Against Rape 5. On Facebook, they would find Make a Difference. Make a Difference on Facebook. My personal Facebook handle is Lemmy Ughegbe. Okay, then
you also have a group. Sometimes you meet. I know
Yes.
you have done fundraising.
Yes.
You have done a lot of things.
Yes.
You know, you have a group that meets from time to time. I think
Regularly.
people want to be part of that kind of meeting.
yeah, so once they get on our Twitter handle
Yeah.
or on Facebook and make a Difference initiative, or go to our website. As a matter of fact, the best is to go to the website www.makeadifferenceng.com.
www.makeadifferenceng.com.
Yes. Once they go to that website, they will find the column that says join the Men Against Rape team. They will just sign up. It's a simple process. Your name and your phone number. Then as soon as they sign up with just putting their name and phone number, they will receive a mail immediately saying that they are now members of the community. Then we can now begin to relate from there.
So let me thank you so much for all the wonderful works you have been doing. Thank you for being the voice to the voiceless. Thank you for fighting for children who cannot fight for themselves. Thank you for putting yourself out there and carrying the weights that most fathers should be carrying. And I pray and hope that more men will join this movement so that they can help protect the women and we can have a sane society. I know that this conversation will not end here. The more the issues, the more we'll continue to talk about it until victory is finally won. Thank you so much for joining us on Rightturn Rejoice. I encourage you to follow us on all our social media handles, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you for joining us on this particular episode, and God bless you. See you next time.